Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I'm Louise from the Dusty Jacket. Today we're going to Japan and to the moon, looking at the Civil War, Union protest, and experiencing the beautiful friendship between a spirited girl and a silent boy.
So much to take in.
So keep watching while I review 5 great historical fictions for kids. Let's get started. Our first book is The Friendship Doll by Kirby Larson, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars and has a recommended reading age of 9 to 12. Miss Kanagawa was the last doll that master doll maker Tatsuhiko would ever make, as she was to be his masterpiece. She and her 57 sisters were being sent to the children of the United States from the children of Japan as a gesture of friendship.
We come in peace.
But Master Tatsuhiko wanted his prized creation to discover her true purpose, to be loved by a child. But Miss Kanagawa was as callous as she was beautiful, and was very certain that a doll with a samurai spirit would never have a need for a child. The Friendship Doll is based on the arrival of 58 dolls from Japan to the United States in November 1927. In her book, Larson takes us from 1927 to present day and introduces readers to such events as the Great Depression, the Chicago World's Fair, and the attack on Pearl Harbor. Through Miss Kanagawa, we meet a hopeful orator, an aspiring pilot, a voracious reader, and a devoted writer, each with her own remarkable story and each changed by a chance encounter with a unique and proud doll.
She changed me forever.
Although this book does touch upon the subjects of death and dementia, its historical insights offer readers a valuable glimpse at a few events from our nation's past, and serves as a reminder that it's often the smallest of things that can bring about the greatest change within ourselves. Book number 2 is The Breaker Boys by Pat Hughes, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars and has a recommended reading age of 8 to 12. Nate Tanner was born into privilege. For several generations, his family has owned coal mines near Hazleton, Pennsylvania, allowing him to have anything he desired, except a single friend. But then he met Johnny Bartolak, a Polish-American boy who sorts coal in one of his family's breakers. Theirs was a friendship that started out with a simple bike ride, but slowly built with lie upon lie. How could Nate tell Johnny the truth about his family? And how could he possibly tell his family about Johnny? As the miners begin to talk of joining a labor union, Nate must make the ultimate choice between friendship and family.
Why is this decision so hard?
The Breaker Boys is based on events that occurred on September 10, 1897 at the Latimer Mine near Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Known as the Latimer Massacre, 19 striking immigrant coal miners were killed and 39 others were wounded. Hughes brings these miners' stories and struggles to life in a book about friendship, honor, forgiveness, and betrayal. Although Hughes fills her novel with plenty of conflicts, the story never feels bogged down or overly preachy, and the action and emotions slowly intensify as Nate's secret comes closer and closer to being discovered.
That is a great story.
This book is gripping and offers readers a glimpse into American history while illustrating the importance of honesty, the value of friendship, and the gift of second chances. Although it has a recommended reading age of 8 to 12, there are scenes with profanity, drinking, and smoking, so a starting age of 10 or older might not be a bad idea. After all, it's 1897 and these are the Breaker Boys, and not the Bible Boys.
What difference does that make?
Still, I highly recommend this book as it shows readers that despite differences in class, ethnicity, and religion, 2 boys found commonality and friendship through something as simple as a bike ride. Book number 3 is Turn Homeward, Hannalee by Patricia Beatty, which I rated 4 out of 5 stars and has a recommended reading age of 8 to 12. The Civil War has been raging for 3 years now. 12-year-old Hannalee Reed's father died in an Army hospital last winter, and her older brother is in Virginia fighting for the Confederacy. She and her little brother Jem spend their days working in the mill making cloth while her mother awaits the birth of her 4th child. When Union soldiers arrive in her hometown of Roswell, Georgia, they burn down the mill, charge the workers with treason, and send them to Tennessee and Kentucky by train.
Dude, that's a little harsh.
Before Hannalee is taken away, her mother pulled a button from her blouse and tells her daughter, "Wherever you go, keep this to remind yourself to come home. Turn your heart to me. Turn homeward, Hannalee." Despite hundreds of miles and impossible odds, Hannalee intends to keep her promise and find her way home again. The first half of Beatty's book is based on events that occurred in July 1864 when the Yankee cavalry arrived in Roswell, Marietta, and New Manchester, Georgia, and put nearly 2,000 mill workers on trains to work in union mills or for Northern families. Although this book is targeted for readers 8 to 12, bumping it up to age 10 might be appropriate since there are plenty of scenes that depict the cruelty, ugliness, and inhumanity that come with war. Hannalee and Jem witnessed firsthand the horrors of the Battle of Franklin, which lasted only 6 hours but was a terrible defeat for the Confederacy. Although Beatty provides a lot of facts and details, this book was more like a thrilling action and adventure story and less like a textbook, so readers shouldn't worry about losing interest.
What a great story.
All told, 1,800 Georgian mill workers simply vanished from government records. But it would be nice to think that there were a few people like Hannalee Reid who traveled hundreds of miles and survived hunger and the elements to find their way back home again. At number 4 is I Love You, Michael Collins by Lauren Baratz Logstead, which I rated 4 out of 5 stars and has a recommended reading age of 8 to 12. It's 1969 and the last day before summer vacation. 10-year-old Mamie Anderson and her class have to write a letter to one of the astronauts of Apollo 11. Mamie chooses Michael Collins because, quite simply, no one else did. After all, where's the glory for the one who gets left behind?
Ooh, I don't want any toys left behind.
Told through a series of letters written to Michael Collins, Mamie shares details about her life, family, and best friend. And as the time for the moon landing draws closer, Mamie's world begins to fall apart, leaving her to ask, doesn't anyone stay with the ship anymore? This is an enchanting and absolutely delectable book to read. Was it sentimental and nostalgic? You bet. I couldn't get enough of Mamie's references to Magnavox color TVs, erector sets, TV dinners served in compartmentalized metal trays, and doing research at the library by pulling periodicals.
You're such a boomer.
Despite the racial riots and the Vietnam War, for one rare moment in time, the world was united in witnessing a truly extraordinary event. Everyone came together as one human race to watch a man from the planet Earth set foot on the moon for the very first time. I loved experiencing the awe and thrill of the lunar landing through the eyes of a 10-year-old girl who decided to write to the astronaut who she considered to be the best one, not because he walked on the moon, but because he stayed with the ship so that he could bring everyone safely back home again. Last is Bronze and Sunflower by So Wenxuan and translated from Mandarin by Helen Yang, which I rated 5 out of 5 stars and has a recommended reading age of 9 to 12. Sunflower is lonely. Her father, a revered sculptor, has, like so many others, been sent to work at the Cadre School, and now Sunflower has very little to do all day. To pass the time, she goes down to the river and looks to the other side of the village called Damadi, where there is life, activity, and most of all, children.
A whole new world.
When tragedy strikes, Sunflower is sent to live in the home of Damadi's poorest family, where she meets Baba, Mama, grandmother Nai, and Bronze, their mute son. Suddenly, Sunflower is a daughter, a granddaughter, and a sister, and life amongst these poor people was about to make her richer than she could ever imagine. Bronze and Sunflower is a masterpiece of storytelling and tells the story of a family and a village caught up in China's Cultural Revolution during the late 1960s and early 70s. Wenxuan doesn't make this period in history the center of the story, but instead chooses to keep it as a backdrop by focusing on the unique and touching bond between Bronze and Sunflower and their family's struggle to survive.
Good decision. Yeah.
It's a tale showing us that life isn't fair, that justice isn't always served, and that those in power, for better or worse, wield a mighty influence. But Wenxuan also shows us the importance of family, the power of redemption, and the value of integrity. The only fault I have with this book is the ending.
It's probably just a small, teeny, tiny problem.
It's vague and puts the burden on the reader to determine what happened. I'm not a fan of this kind of ending, especially with books for young readers, but the overall story isn't dependent upon it and shouldn't keep you from enjoying an otherwise engaging and captivating tale that was a delight to read and experience. Well, that's it. We'll include a link to our Goodreads page in the comments section if you want to read the full review of any of these books. And if you enjoyed this video, please click on the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to hit the bell so that you're notified when new videos become available. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to bringing back some old titles so that you can make new memories, because any time is a good time to dust off a new favorite. Keep reading!